Pride Month, celebrated annually in June, is widely regarded as a time of vibrant celebration, unity, and advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights. Rainbow flags decorate storefronts, corporations issue supportive statements, and parades take place across major cities worldwide. On the surface, Pride Month appears to be a global acknowledgement of progress, love, and inclusion. However, beneath the surface lies a complex and often controversial narrative that many avoid discussing. In this essay, we delve into the multifaceted truth about Pride Month, exploring its radical origins, modern commercialization, public opinion, and the growing web of conspiracy theories and critiques surrounding it. To understand Pride Month fully, one must begin with its roots in resistance. The most widely recognized catalyst for Pride was the Stonewall Riots of June 1969. These riots erupted after a police raid on the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in New York City. Members of the LGBTQ+ community, fed up with harassment and discrimination, fought back. Figures like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera played prominent roles in the uprising. Initially, Pride was a protest, not a parade. It was raw, defiant, and revolutionary. The early Pride marches were political demonstrations demanding rights and recognition for LGBTQ+ individuals, many of whom faced systemic oppression and criminalization. Over the decades, the tone and purpose of Pride have shifted dramatically. What began as a protest has increasingly become a corporate-sponsored celebration. Major brands like Coca-Cola, Nike, and Google now participate in Pride, releasing limited-edition merchandise and themed advertising campaigns. While some argue this visibility is a positive step toward normalization and acceptance, others view it as rainbow capitalism, the exploitation of LGBTQ+ identities for profit. Critics argue that these corporations often do little to support LGBTQ+ rights outside of June. Many have been called out for donating to anti-LGBTQ+ politicians or failing to implement inclusive policies within their own organizations. This discrepancy raises important questions. Are these companies genuine allies, or are they capitalizing on a profitable demographic? Public opinion on Pride Month varies widely depending on geography, religion, politics, and personal experience. In progressive urban centers, Pride is embraced as a celebration of diversity. In more conservative or religious communities, however, it is often met with criticism, protests, or outright bans. Recent polls show growing support for LGBTQ+ rights among younger generations, but older demographics often remain skeptical or opposed. The polarization can be seen in legislative battles over school curricula, public drag performances, and transgender rights, many of which intensify around Pride Month. Some believe Pride has strayed too far from its original mission. They argue that the events have become too commercialized, too sanitized, or too focused on assimilation rather than liberation. Others push back against the inclusion of kink and sexual expression in public parades, arguing it alienates families or reinforces harmful stereotypes. In recent years, Pride Month has become a lightning rod for conspiracy theories and culture war narratives, particularly on social media and fringe websites. Some of these theories, while baseless or exaggerated, gain traction among certain groups and contribute to growing mistrust. The grooming narrative. One of the most dangerous and unfounded theories is that Pride events, especially those involving drag performances or discussions of gender identity in schools, are part of a larger agenda to groom or indoctrinate children. This theory, promoted by far-right commentators and conspiracy theorists, plays into age-old fears and has led to protests, harassment, and even threats of violence against Pride organizers. Government and elite control. Another theory posits that Pride Month is part of a broader effort by global elites to control social norms and values. According to this view, corporations and governments use Pride to signal virtue while distracting from deeper societal issues. Some theorists tie this into the World Economic Forum or United Nations agendas, claiming LGBTQ+ advocacy is a smokescreen for social engineering. Religious propaganda and end-times beliefs. In some religious communities, Pride Month is seen as a sign of moral decay. Apocalyptic rhetoric frames LGBTQ plus visibility as a harbinger of divine judgment. This belief can be found in certain evangelical circles and has been amplified by televangelists and religious influencers. These conspiracy theories, while often lacking evidence, gain momentum due to political polarization, mistrust in institutions, and the algorithmic echo chambers of the internet. A particularly contentious area is the inclusion of LGBTQ plus topics in education. During Pride Month, schools and libraries often host events, readings, or discussions aimed at promoting inclusivity. Opponents argue this constitutes ideological indoctrination. In states like Florida, legislation like the Don't Say Gay bill has restricted classroom discussion of gender and sexuality. Supporters counter that representation is vital for LGBTQ plus youth, who face higher rates of bullying, depression, and suicide. They argue that Pride Month visibility helps reduce stigma and creates safer environments for marginalized students. This clash over identity, education, and parental rights is likely to intensify as Pride continues to grow in visibility and cultural significance. Critique doesn't just come from outside the LGBTQ plus community. Many queer activists argue that Pride has lost its radical edge. Some feel that corporate sponsorship dilutes the message, while others call for more intersectionality, emphasizing the unique struggles of Black, Indigenous, and trans individuals. There's also a growing call to reclaim Pride, a movement aimed at returning Pride to its activist roots. These events often eschew corporate sponsors, focus on grassroots organizing, and highlight ongoing issues like police violence, homelessness, and healthcare disparities affecting queer communities. The tension between assimilationist and liberationist visions of Pride reflects deeper questions about the future of the LGBTQ plus movement. While much of the conversation around Pride focuses on Western countries, it's important to consider the global landscape. In over 60 countries, homosexuality remains criminalized. In places like Uganda, new anti-LGBTQ plus laws have sparked international outrage. Activists in these regions often risk imprisonment or death to celebrate Pride. This stark contrast highlights the privilege of open celebration in more progressive nations, while also raising concerns about the exportation of Western LGBTQ plus values. Some critics argue that global Pride efforts can sometimes appear culturally imperialistic, imposing liberal norms on societies with different traditions. As Pride Month grows in visibility, so too do the debates surrounding it. The push and pull between celebration and protest, commercialization and authenticity, inclusion and controversy will likely continue to shape its future. Will Pride remain a tool for visibility and change? Or will it become a hollow marketing exercise? Will conspiracy theories and political backlash erode its progress? Or will new waves of activism rise to meet the challenge? What is clear is that Pride Month, in all its complexity, reflects larger societal tensions around identity, power, and belonging. To engage with it honestly requires moving beyond surface-level celebration and grappling with the hard truths beneath the rainbow. The truth about Pride Month isn't a simple binary of good or bad. It is a multifaceted, evolving phenomenon that reflects both incredible progress and deep-rooted tensions. While it continues to provide visibility and community for millions, it also faces valid criticisms and dangerous misconceptions. By confronting these realities, from corporate exploitation to cultural backlash, from internal critiques to global struggles, we can better understand the true nature of Pride and what it represents in today's world. Whether as celebration, protest, or cultural battleground, Pride Month remains one of the most significant and most contested events of our time.